Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another Everton 24/7 report on a day which, despite still no Andre Gomes announcement to bring you, the news is generally very positive as far as Everton are concerned. And by that I mean the news regarding Kurt Zouma. It was revealed yesterday that Zouma has said to his friends that he'd love to come back to Everton, which for Everton is fantastic news on top of the desire Gomes has shown to make his loan permanent. For me, it's a good indicator that the players at Everton believe the club is moving in the right direction, and particularly when you look at how things have been over the last couple of summers, and sometimes it felt like rats jumping the sinking ship almost. Players seemed to like they couldn't wait to get out of Everton, and perhaps that's testament to the hard work done over the past year or so by our director of football and our new manager. And if these signings are anything to go by, Everton may have finally found the competent personnel that we've been crying out for quite some time now. However, the drawback, as I mentioned on Thursday night, is that Chelsea's transfer ban could throw a bit of a spanner in the works. Throw in there the fact that Chelsea are also unwilling to do any business until they've named a successor as manager to Maurizio Sarri. It may well be Frank Lampard, but we'll have to wait and see. Chelsea's ban might also make it harder to sign a Zouma replacement. So if that's something the new manager deems necessary, it could mean a much more drawn-out transfer saga than perhaps Marcel Brands and Marco Silva were hoping to have in their plans as they prepare the team through the pre-season and look to have a settled team ready for the first game against Crystal Palace, which is on, I think, the 11th of August. Indeed, the pre-season itself gets underway just 2 weeks from now, and so far only Jonas Lissel is officially in the Everton ranks. Everton may be keen to get their business done sooner than they did last year. Of course, it took till the 20th of July, which is the first signing, which was Richarlison. I think we're trying to get things done a lot quicker this year, and hopefully we can give any new players a pre-season to settle in with the squad. With Zouma very keen to come back to Everton, and the question now seems to lie with Marco Silva and Marcel Brands. How much time and effort are they prepared to commit to getting Kurt Zouma back here, even if it might go against their ideal plans for the pre-season? If they are, in fact, looking for a speedier resolution, then it's time to think again, because re-signing Zouma is not going to be an easy task this year. And with the Zouma return still uncertain, the rumour mill has just not let us down today in terms of suggesting some alternative centre-halves. First of all, Armando Izzo had a stellar season with Torino. They finished 7th in Serie A. And like so many rumours to come out of Italy this week, the links have come courtesy of Calcio Mercato. They reckon that we could be interested in Izzo, and along with the likes of AC Milan, Lazio, but apparently Arsenal and Man United are the front runners, with the transfer fee thrown around looking at about 27 million. Armando Izzo only arrived at Torino last summer, so a move to the Premier League might be a bit hasty for him in my opinion. As I've said before, signing one player off the back of a good season is always a big risk. It's something we did a lot with Steve Walsh, and a lot of the time that ended up with a bit of a negative result. Of course, Izzo could be the man to break the trend, and if Marcel Brands fancies him, then we've got to let him do his job. But from my perspective, if we're going to raid Torino at all this summer, I don't see why we don't go for Andrea Bellotti, the striker. A proven goal scorer over a number of seasons now for Torino. It's another of the positions that we've said we needed to strengthen, those being centre-back, right-back and striker, plus Andre Gomes, presumably. And Bellotti's certainly a striker I'd bear in mind, so if we're keeping our eye on players at Torino, certainly keep an eye on Bellotti as well as Armando Izzo. But keeping with the defensive theme, Jean-Philippe Baman, I hope I got that right, is another interesting alternative to Kurt Zouma. He's a versatile centre-back who can also play for a defensive midfield role, and he did that for Mainz in Germany a lot last season. Very much in the mould of Idrissa Gueye as that sort of tough tackling midfielder. I can see the appeal of signing Baman. He's a brilliant young physical player who'd fit in nicely to the mould of player who has been succeeding in the Premier League in the last couple of years, and by signing him, we might not just address the centre-back issue, but also give us a bit of a safety net should Idrissa Gueye leave at any point during this window. He's been linked to us by his own agent, Bernard Collignon, by means of an interview with Football Transfers in Germany, and his agent reckons he's worth 60 million. Newsflash, he isn't. He says he's spoken to a number of teams about potentially bringing Balan to the Premier League, and Liverpool, Tottenham and Arsenal are the other names that have been linked with him. Maybe a tough one to get given the calibre of the opposition there, but this is what we need to do to be ambitious, and it seems like we're looking at a top quality player in the making given the other types of teams who are looking at him. And personally for me, I find it quite refreshing to be doing battle against those sorts of teams, whether we get them or not. It's important that we try and be ambitious and do that rather than the usual Leicester and West Ham are also interested soundbites that are regurgitated on nearly every other Everton rumour. I'd be gobsmacked though if we were silly enough to pay 60 million for Baman. I think we'd be silly to pay 60 million for anybody this summer, let alone a defender. So if Baman is to move to Everton or anywhere else for that matter, I think his agent needs to lower his demands just a little bit. Now, the name Kieran Tierney resurfaced on my newsfeed today. He's been linked with a move to Arsenal for just 15 million. It's worth remembering this time last year we were linked with Tierney for 25 million. And given how things have panned out since, it looks as though we may have made the right decision avoiding that signing last year. While I think he'd have been a good signing for us, we ended up getting Luca Dean for 5 million less, and that has worked out very well. Our magic left back won Everton Player of the Year last season. Despite not bringing Tierney to the Premier League, from an Everton perspective, it would still be interesting to see how he performs in England, and should that move come to fruition, no doubt we'd all keep a close eye on him and probably be comparing him to Digne, but let's be honest, I think Digne is the better player. And finally, a shout out to our own Michael Keane, who is enjoying his holidays in California at the moment. Well, Big Mick took a bit of time out off his jollies yesterday to go and visit the SoCal Everton Supporters Club in Los Angeles. Kind gesture, and as you'd imagine, it's been greeted with widespread approval and praise on social media from our fan base, and rightly so. When you compare Keane's gesture to perhaps the childish behaviour on holiday from the likes of Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford, who've been seen dicking about and trashing a fancy hotel, it's great to see an Everton player represent the club in the right way, and especially compared to, like, I remember Lukaku shortly before his move getting into a bit of bother, Wayne Rooney and his drink drive, and not long after signing. It's nice to see some good publicity for the club abroad, which is great. I really can't understate what a difference a small gesture like this can do for our fans. It's fantastic. And for the guys in California who get up at an ungodly hour to support the club through thick and thin, to think they probably did that while we were, in the midst of the rut in January and stuff like that. It's nice to see our players giving something back, and this has no doubt made their year, having one of our own players go and meet them. Most of all, it's worth remembering this wasn't something the club organised, it was something Michael Keane has done of his own accord. And it's the kind of community spirit that I think embodies this great club we've got. And when the players get it, it can be something special. It's fantastic to see over the last year just how much our players have started to buy into the club's ethos and its fans. And it can change the whole mood around the place, from my opinion. Of course, you want to win titles. Of course, we're all frustrated that we haven't won anything for a long time. But I think when there's a squad of players at the club you can connect with, it can make the tough times a hell of a lot more bearable. Whatever our team goes on to achieve in the next few years, I'm glad to see that connection is being re-established recently. It feels like slowly but surely we might just be getting our club back. Alright, before I go, actually, just a little side note actually about that rediscovering connection between the players and fans. I'd like to big up the originals who've been on a campaign to try and improve the atmosphere at Goodison since around January, February time, and they've done some cracking work towards the end of last season, helping improve the atmosphere at Goodison, and no doubt they'll be carrying on their hard work next year. Obviously, like I said, having Silver and Brands actually have a plan must help the squad morale, but I do believe that the improved atmosphere has played a key part in making this club a great place to come and play your football again, and that can only help our team get stronger as a unit moving forward, and who knows what we can achieve. So, well done to them. That's all from me today. Not a lot of news, but obviously plenty of stuff we've still discussed, so give us your opinions on those, and like and subscribe. But until tomorrow, thank you for watching again on the Toffee Blues.